What's up, everybody? How you all doing? Wow, that was very Tennessee sounding. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I am not from the Appalachians. I don't think anything wrong with the Appalachians. I just think they talk funny. And I'm starting to fall into that trap. The first thing I promised myself when I moved to the Appalachians was I'm not going to talk like I don't know how to speak English. Double negatives are the worst. I hate a double negative. I guess that's the teacher in me. Always correcting 8-year-olds. Hey, it's not no, or no, you don't. You already said don't when you said no. So it's a double negative. It makes me insane. And when I realize that grown adults who've even gone to college still use the double negative because it's their culture and heritage, it makes me insane. So I just don't talk very much to too many people because I don't want to slip into that mindset that less words is more articulate than the proper and correct words. When I use words that are the correct phrasing and the right word to describe what I'm talking about, it makes them crazy. They call me sophisticated. That was what an Appalachian backwoods, very high school educated woman told me at work one time. We were talking about, I was like, why do you guys talk so funny? And she's like, well, we think people like you that come from the city think you're better than us, and that we call you guys sophisticated. And I was like, well, I'd rather be sophisticated than whatever. So today we're talking about Kratom. Cheers to everybody that's having Kratom. Sorry, my cup looks like this. It's because I use it over and over and over again. This is probably the 4th cup I've had this morning, and it's a pretty big cup, but I love it. So today I want to talk about, is Kratom really the answer to your problem? Whatever problem you have, is it going to solve that problem permanently? For some people, absolutely. Like for me, yes. I suffer chronic daily body pain from my internal injury. It makes all my muscles tighten up, and just try to flex your hand for 5 minutes and then see how it feels. Well, mine flex 24/7 for the rest of my life. And what Kratom does is relieves that pain, especially red. And I would much rather take some Mitragina than I would narcotics and opiates, because they have been proven to not solve any problems but cause more problems. I don't know too many people that will kill to get Kratom or that overdose on Kratom and die. I just don't know any. There was one case where one kid, about 18 years old, was on an opiate, and he took like 65 of those stupid little capsules I hate. And his parents came in his room and found him dead, and all they saw was the package of Kratom on his desk. And he was back on his desk. When they called the ambulance and the police saw the Kratom on the desk, and they didn't know what it was, so they marked it as cause of death. And complete failure of the system to understand the holistic herbal remedies for things, and to not know that in the 10,000 years that Kratom has been used in Thailand and Southeast Asia, they don't talk about anyone that's ever died from it. In fact, the rubber tree workers, the guys that work all night scraping rubber from rubber trees, as they would walk to the rubber trees, they would pass Kratom trees, and they would grab a leaf down, fold it up in a certain way, and put it in their mouth and just chew it to get the Mitragina out of it. They weren't getting any alkaloids. I mean, it was just pure leaf, and that's it, And when I had pure leaves and tried it, I didn't get anything from it. I love the powder because I can make it as strong or as weak as I want. until that stupid silicone capsule dissolves for the powder to actually get in your blood. And then it takes a long time, and it makes me very nauseous, because now I've got a bunch of mitragina sitting in my stomach, and it's water soluble. And what kratom does is it totally dehydrates you. I mean, my lips are sticking together because I'm so dehydrated. And you can see them stick together when I talk, and that is because of I'm dehydrated as hell. So now I keep a big glass of water with me, and I stay hydrated, which makes me feel even double better, because we're all dehydrated. None of us drink enough water. We drink coffees and sodas and Powerades, which is probably good for hydration, but I'm talking about Monster energy drinks and Red Bulls, and that stuff doesn't hydrate you. It only dehydrates you. You know, caffeine is a dehydrator too. And caffeine has been proven to be far more dangerous than mitragina. And sugar. You know, sugar kills people. Diabetes and high blood pressure and all that good stuff. So I've reduced the amount of sugar I put in my tea and increased the amount of lemon that I put in it. And when I drink my tea, I don't taste the kratom. All I taste is warm lemonade. And what I think is the best is those little lemonade packages that come in a stick, and they're pretty cheap. And they've got tons of citric acid in it and tons of flavor. So I sprinkle that over my kratom in the cup, stir it up, and then pour, not boiling, but hot, just pre-boiling. Because if you put boiling water in there, it tends to kill some of the alkaloids. So the best temperature for the water is just prior to it starting to boil. So I got really used to listening to my teapot my water boiler back there. When it makes a certain noise, like a and I can start to hear a bubble, then I take it off real quick. And then when I put it in my cup, it's not warm enough to extract those alkaloids that will bind to your brain. Other things that that it cures, or that it solves the problem of, is I suffer a huge amount of depression. Been in the hospital 4 times for depression. And, they've given me every antidepressant in the book, and each one of those antidepressants has horrible side effects. It makes you fat. For men, it takes away your libido. I don't know for women. I'm not a woman. Don't know too many women on antidepressants. And it's not really a topic I want to talk about to a female stranger, or even a female friend, because I don't want to know about their libidos. It's just disrespectful. And personal. But anyway, so depression and anxiety, it will solve that problem without any side effects, except for possible euphoria. Which is why ketamine is so popular now, because it does cause a euphoria. I've heard. I've never taken it before, and I'm not terrified of taking it. I don't like taking drugs I don't know about, which is why I drink kratom. It's permanently solved my problem with depression. I can drink 1 cup of kratom. Well, it takes me 2 cups, actually, in the morning when I wake up. And then I don't have to take any antidepressants, and my male testosterone levels and all that good stuff are still high. So, but when I was taking antidepressants, it was like sucking the manhood out of me. And the anxiety pills work for such a short period of time. You know, they say their half-life is 13 to 14 hours, but I've never found that to be the case. But for my anxiety, if I find myself in a spot where, like right now, my living situation is very, very off the mark. I mean, I can stay here until my mom dies, but once she dies, my evil family, my sister's family, who my mom signed the house over to regretfully on her part, wants the house to be just for their sons to live in. And so Uncle Chris gets shot. I mean, my own sister is throwing me out to live in my car in the freezing mountains of Appalachia. and I'm disabled. That's not a possibility for me, and I can't afford a motel room every night, even a cheap one. And a typical rental for even a studio is $1,400 a month, and I make $1,000 a month total. And I have my bills, my phone, my car insurance, maintenance on my car. I need to buy 4 new tires and a radio, and my transmission is starting to be ugly because the car's from 2003 and has hundreds of thousands of miles on it. Never mind about my problems, but I can drink a couple of cups of Kratom and not really think about it. Just live life one day at a time and keep working on it. Motivates me to work on my future and look at Craigslist and call old friends and say, hey man, can I rent a room from you? I know you got an extra one because both of your kids just left and went to college, and I'm your cousin, and they're like, no, I want to keep the rooms exactly the same so that when they come home from college they still feel at home. And I understand that, but when I was married and had a house with plenty of bedrooms, my brother lived with me, and he let me live with him for a little while, but his wife wasn't real cool with the extra man in the house using the one bathroom, or using one of the 2 bathrooms, because she had one bathroom and my brother had the other one, and she didn't like the fact that I was using her bathroom, regardless of the fact that I cleaned it as much as I could. I would clean the toilet after every use, wipe the counters down after I shaved, which, believe it or not, I do shave. Yeah, I shave. If you look, I would have that George Costanza ring on my head, and I don't want that. I would rather look as pretty as I do now with the bald head. Just kidding, y'all. Sorry. So, what are some other things that Kratom is good for? Pain, anxiety, depression, boredom. Stops me from wanting alcohol or any kind of drug to take my problems away from reality. Because that's why people take drugs, and they legalize marijuana, which takes you to a whole other realm, so I've heard. I've never taken it before. But I'm not opposed to it. I think it's just as good as Kratom. My straight edge beliefs won't allow me to go there. And I beat it in my head. My parents both smoked weed my entire life. They were baby boomers from the 60s. They were born in the 40s and lived through the 60s era where everybody was doing drugs and smoking cigarettes, and they joined right in. And my dad, bless his heart, he smoked marijuana up until the end, and he kept trying to get me to go in the garage and smoke with him. I'm like, sorry, Dad, I'm just not that person. I respect the fact that you do it, and it helped him calm down because he had horrible anger issues like I do from things that happened to me in the past and present. And I've gone to jail twice because I physically battered somebody because of my anger. And prior to my just being disabled, I was a beast. As you can see from the thumbnail, that crazy shot of me on stage, that was who I was, and that was my inner demon coming out. And on stage, people got to see that. And I'm not allowed to put any of our music on my YouTube channel because we were on a certain record label out of Miami, and that label got sold to Columbia Records. So Columbia Records now owns the rights to all our music, and I don't know how to contact them and get a license to use I put 5 seconds of one of my songs, which was just guitar feedback, the introduction to a song, and one vocal, and YouTube flagged it and told me I have copyright strike So I had to take the video down, take it out, and then repost it again. And I would love to show you, I can't even use videos of us on stage, which on Facebook I am Thomas C. Irving, and from there you can see the other half of my life, mostly my past, because it's just old pictures and old videos of my band, and Facebook doesn't have any kind of... And it's funny because if you YouTube my band's name, it'll have a picture of the album and just play the entire album. And I don't know how they get away with it with no copyright strikes, and who's making them. And these pages are making money because there's like 14 million views. And because we were playing during the emo era, and emo is very, very popular with little girls listening to this heavy hardcore music. And like my students in 8th grade were like, "Oh my god, you were in that band?" I'm like, "Yeah." And never would they know that I had any of this nonsense on me, or that my arms were completely covered and that 90% of my body is covered, because obviously I was always dressed in class. I'm not a freaking pervert. But one of my students formed a band, another emo band, and he begged me to please go and watch his band play. And I was like, sure, of course. And they were selling our CDs as merch to make, because they had like 100 copies. That they would buy one copy the cover in color, and put it in a CD our case, and sell them for $10 a piece. And that's how that band was making their money, was selling other people's music and our t-shirts and all that stuff. And they were playing, and typically if I go into a club to watch a hardcore band play, I take off my shirt, and here I am with my shirt off, covered in tattoos from head to toe, or from throat to toe. And my students, I look around and all my students were there. I was like, holy shit, I'm in trouble. But it just made me the most popular teacher in the school. And I had so much respect, even though I could be their friends. And I think it's important for a teacher to be your friend, because it gains their respect. If somebody respects you, they're going to pay more attention to you. Which is why we lean on experts of a subject, like PhDs, to learn stuff from, because we respect that PhD because of all the amount of hard work they had to put in to get it. I was working on mine. After my second master's degree, I got accepted my PhD theory got accepted at Duke University, and that was in the other side of the state, and it wasn't possible for me. I just bought a house and a car, and it wasn't possible for me to move my wife and dogs to Raleigh, or wherever Duke University is, I don't remember. But one of my professors from the small college I was in Western Carolina, he was a neuropsychologist, and he was also my friend. When I got sick, he came. Three of the professors actually came to see me, because it's a psychology department, and they were curious. They were all obviously PhDs, and they were curious as to my how I was doing, and they wanted to learn about my neurological state. Okay, I've got a lesion here. What gets paralyzed when you have a seizure here, or when you have a stroke here? And so they're taking notes while they're talking to me, and it was kind of cool, being a test subject with all these professors that I completely respected and worshipped, because they all had PhDs and were experts in psychology. And but I think because I took psychology so seriously and always was a valedictorian of my class, me and 3 other students in our department kind of stuck together. One of them had an eidetic memory. The other one was just a hard-working student who is now a PhD and teaching at a university in Georgia as a PhD. And I would have had my PhD had I not had this stupid accident. So yes, Kratom, you've got to try Kratom and start low and then find your level to help with your problem. It may be the solution to a problem you're having. Right now I'm looking for a natural solution to get rid of all this tightness I have. It's called spasticity, and I've taken Botox injections directly into my muscles, which were supposed to deaden the muscles and let my arm and hand relax. But my spasticity is so advanced and so bad because of the severity of my stroke that nothing works. And if I could find something like, if cannabis worked to relax my muscles, I would definitely use that as a solution. And I would have to, I'd see it as it would obviously be prescribed. I wouldn't just buy it off the streets because you don't know what you're getting. There's fentanyl laced in. It's cannabis now. Fuck that. I don't want to fuck with fentanyl. That's just bad, bad stuff. And I want to have a disclaimer here. Everything I'm talking about is my, I want to call it an expert opinion because I've been using and studying Kratom for the last 10 years, or last 15 years, I'm sorry, when I lived on a ranch, a new age ranch, and everyone there was using holistic medication, and they turned me on to Kratom, and immediately I started feeling effects that it reduced my, because I had migraines my entire life, horrible migraines that would make me cry and lay in a corner and keep me from going to school or work, or they were almost as bad as the headache I had from having the stroke and all the pressure building up in my skull from the damage, and that they had to put me in a coma for, because they just kept pumping me full of morphine, and they pumped me enough morphine to where I went into a coma for 3 weeks, because if my blood pressure would have gone up at one point, my brain would have exploded. So, but when they woke me up and took me off the morphine, I had horrible side effects from it. Had no memories for 3 weeks. Plus, it fucked up my digestive system so much that I couldn't go to the bathroom for a week, and they had to do some severe stuff to empty my digestive system. Horrible when you're just a 30-year-old man, and you've got these really pretty nurses just sticking things up in you that you would never let anybody touch. So, I don't know, but yes, Kratom can be the solution to most problems. I don't know what problems all of you are suffering, but a lot of people comment and tell me, yeah, Kratom has really helped me with this and that and this and that, but my memory kind of sucks because of the brain damage, so I don't remember every single situation, but I do know that it's not really addictive and better than opiates and morphines and other prescription drugs for you. The only problem with it is it's a little expensive when you drink it to the amount that I drink, 2.2 pounds a month, and which is about $200. So, and I'm living off of this really low salary, and pretty soon I'm going to be homeless, and I still have my disability money coming in to buy Kratom, but I won't have a place to plug my electric teapot in, and it'll be cold, and I'll be freezing outside. So anyway, I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Mine is going to be terrifying, because I find out next week if I can move to Florida or not. So, wish me luck. And also, please like and subscribe, because this could change my life, this channel. It could actually bring extra money into my world, which would help me immensely. Simple likes and subscriptions, and you don't have to turn on notifications if this is not your channel, but just the fact that that my subscriber count is so high will get me monetized. And I've got to figure out what a short is and how to make a short, because I've got to have some sort of millions of votes for fucking dehydration, for Even if it only brought me in like a couple hundred a month, I'll never start a Patreon because I'm not going to ask you guys for money to watch my videos. I do this because I love it, and I love you all. The community that we built, the first 400 subscribers I had, we're still in constant. Some of them I'm in contact with on Facebook. From Facebook, I've given them my personal email, which I check every day and answer every single. Right now, with 1,000 subscribers and 500 videos out there, it's hard to answer every comment. But I try to answer as many as possible, with at least a reply, just to show that I do care. So I'm going to stop talking now. So I hope you all have an amazing time. I know I said that already, but like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I'm probably going to do videos once every other day because it's getting harder and harder to find topics. Especially since I'm not so creative because I'm so stressed out right now worrying about where I'm going to live and finances. So, alright, y'all, take it easy, and Tamara and Sluggo and Peggy Lyman, good morning. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.